Yeah. So after now my brother's getting married in the States. So my family is there. Are you going? No, I'm not going. Why are you not going? My project with the street families has just started. We had just started building the arboretum. So I felt like if I go now, all this that I'm doing will fall. So this is where I had to make a sacrifice. So I called my brother. I told him I'll not be coming. I don't know if he understood up to today. But either way, I did not go. I remained back. And that's when now my mother told me, sasa, hakuna mtu home. Nimewacha key mahali fulani, rudi. And then they were to come back after a month. So I was like, after a month, lazima nikuwe nimejipanga, nikuwe nishatoka hapa. And then when they went there, when they wanted to come, there was a problem again with their flights. So they had to stay for another month. So I was, so I stayed.
And that time you're still going to the forest?
I never stopped going to the forest. Yes, now I was operating from home. Now at least I had a good bed, I could have a shower, I could... But then my big brother had also given me clothes. So he had given me clothes. So life was like that, life went. So they went to the States, and then when they came back, I got the confidence to stay home. Yeah, so I stayed there a little bit with them. Yeah, although it was... My dad now was the problem. My mom was not a problem, but now my dad, you could see maybe I don't have fare. I couldn't ask him. Because if I ask him, I give him an opportunity to lecture me. So I used to walk on foot.
You're still working on your pride.
Yes, I was still working on my pride. So at that time we had moved to Kiamunyi. I remember a number of times I walked from Kiamunyi to the forest to here to teach children. So I used to walk on foot. Kiamunyi, Menengai Forest, school. Everyone knew I was good except the children I used to teach. One of the children called Aisha, who was now the leader of the children teachers, figured that I don't eat because she saw like I am starting to grow thin. Because the kids saw me from day one. Yeah. Because after I quit my job, I was with them. So the ones I used to hang out with my car, I used to go with them. So slowly they see, nowadays teacher does not bring pizza. Nowadays teacher does not take us to this. Nowadays teacher does not reward us for this. So they began to probe what's going on. And then they were the only people I could talk to, so I told them the truth. So this kid, Aisha, will ensure she has a lot of food for break. And actually, so every time I came here at 3 p.m. at their school to teach them, she will tell me, before you teach us, shika. So anipatia tin, I go to the basement, I eat, then I show up. And then there was Felix Omundi. I think he's in French school, Kamusinga now. He just used to live around the school. And then the mother used to give him an allowance of 200 shillings every day for lunch and stuff. So Felix was like, I don't need this money because I eat in school and everything. So he used to give me 150 every day for fare. Those children are the ones I lived with through that period. So those children are the ones who dreamt about me being president. Yes, they said, teacher, we dreamt you'll be president in these coming elections. And I told them if it is God's will, because I also have thoughts, I'll do it. So that was around in 2018. So after that, they came back, my parents came back, we chilled, everything was okay, and then God worked his magic again. So now when I was now feeling comfortable at home, sasa nimerudi home, sasa ni kama Fade na Madhe wamesha accept tu ni mimi. So relationship has come well again, and then my parents went to the States. That was around towards the end of 2019. Yeah, so my parents went to the States. So they gave up their house. Their life in Nakuru, they made sure their life in Nakuru is no more. So they shifted their things to Kisumu, and then dad went to the States, and then shortly after mom followed. So in December,
How about you?
Pardon?
They didn't shift with you to Kisumu.
No, I was told now, sisi tumeenda, sasa jipange. and then my big brother called me also and told me, Brayo, sasa unajua madhe na fadhia wako, sasa plan ni gani? I had no plan, but I gave him a plan. Mimi niko sawa, nimeget shughuli Nairobi, mimi naenda Nairobi. And then Nairobi I went. There's a best friend of mine who hosted me for a long time. I went, we stayed with him. I used to work with the father. I used to appear before the father in court. So he hosted me, they hosted me. No questions, no judgment. One of my friends also, another architect in Nakuru, whom I went to church with also. Actually, no, before I went back home, this friend of mine, this architect, he came to visit me in the forest. Because he, quote unquote, he came to see how he can add his architectural genius in the tree houses we were building. But it's like God had sent him. So when he came and found a lot of things there. And then it hit him, this guy lives here. So coincidentally, there was Manchester United versus Liverpool playing that evening. So he's a Liverpool player. He's a Liverpool fan of Manchester. So he was like, kuna game ya Man U leo usiku saa 4. Si tuende to watch home. Alafu kesho asubuhi utarudi. Easy. So we went home. We went home, we watched the match. Actually, they never told me utarudi. I still had my car then. So they never told me utarudi. So tuende to watch game. So when we went to watch game, ikaisha around midnight. So the wife said, Brayo huwezi enda mahali. Saizi ni late, room yako nimekuulia ni lala hapo. And then I woke up early morning. This friend of mine who brought me here has woken up very early and traveled. And then he has left the wife with instructions. Like, Brayo akulete maji ile kubwa jio. Akirudi jioni, akulete hiyo 20 liter hiyo distilled water. So I was wondering, Miss Rudy.
He had plans.
Miss Rudy.
Already alikuwa amekupanga.
Then the wife tells me, apana. He's not there. So you can't leave when he's not there. So at least when mngoje urudi. So he came after 3 days. Yeah, so by 3 I was already accustomed to the place.
And you're not going to the forest?
I was going to the forest, but now I'm coming back here. So I leave in the morning, I come back here. And then when I don't have fuel, you know, my car is a Guzzler. So this is where I say also God has his people. My car was a Guzzler, a twin carburetor 1972 Classic. There's a lot of fuel. And my friend's car is just a normal, efficient Toyota. But he used to fuel my car. Yes. He used to give me 2,000 after 2 days, fuel, go for your things. He fed me, he gave me clothes. He hid me, and he never... Actually, it is me who speaks about him hosting me. He has never spoken about it. Yeah, so after that, my parents went now to the States. So from now, he's home. I went back home. My parents came back. I chilled with them. They went back. Then now
Kisumu?
Yeah. No, Kisumu, I never went with them. Dad went to the States, Mom went to Kisumu.
Okay.
And then me, I went to Nairobi. And then I got a deal. I got a breakthrough. Just when everything was difficult, I wrote a proposal to Kenya Commercial Bank on matters of environment and how we can work together. Then they listened to me, they called me to Nairobi, they had my proposals, they told me to draw a budget. I drew a nice budget there, they approved. So there was only one signature remaining. So I was told, this signature, mkubwa anakuja siku fulani. So akikuja apige hii signature, tuendelee na hii shughuli. So I put the horse or the cart before the horse. So when I knew, hiyo imeingiana, I went and assembled a team. I went and found my friends who they have skills and talents, but they don't have any knowledge in hawajapata kazi. So I assembled 7 of them. Gawanya, huyu atakuwa transport manager, huyu atakuwa nini, and all that. So after that, so now I went back to KCB. So I have committed these guys. I have given them contracts. They are now coming to work. I went back to KCB and I told KCB, hata nisha assemble team. We are ready. Then that's when it hit me, I've made a mistake. Because the manager I was speaking to frowned a bit. KCB wanted me alone so that they could absorb me, maybe consultancy or something. So when I brought a team, they're like, no, that can't happen. So that deal backfired. And I had engaged this team. I had shown them what they will do in matters environment. I had, you know how umepromisiwa job mpaka umerestructure kila kitu yako. And then now I'm telling you, hiyo job hakuna. Yeah, so it was heartbreaking, not only for them but for me, because I felt like I've let them down. So that's when I felt, no, this is a mistake. I've done wrong things. I don't have anywhere to go. December, so I decided, so my parents are not there. So I decided, wacha nirudi mashambani. My grandmother is there. Let me go and talk to her. So I poured my heart out to my 100-year-old grandmother, talked to her, cried, and then she prayed for me and told me before the day ends, it was Christmas, before the day ends, God will give you a Christmas gift. I was like, she's just talking. This God, this one who has abandoned me for the last 3 years. Okay. But now I chilled. So in the evening, as my granny's help was preparing dinner, I was there at the dining room. My granny was just seated there at her favorite chair doing her own things. And then I hear a car from outside. I look at the car, it has Rwandese number plates. I look closely, it's my cousin. He's an architect in Rwanda. He's been there for 10 years. He has visited my grandma. So I started asking, he'll give me money because he has money. He's like, this is money. And this will give me money. So God asked me, do you want money or do you want a break? I said, I want a break. Then talk to your cousin. Ask my cousin, hey, when are you going back to Rwanda? He's like, in 2 days.
And so that was the present that your granny was talking about.
Yes. When are you going back to Rwanda? It's like, I just came the other day. I'm going to see my folks and then my brothers and then I go back. So I asked him, what do I need to go? Then he was like, actually, it's a very long journey. Make sure you have your passport and your yellow fever and carry all your notarized documents. And we go. And that's how I went to Kigali. Like, I told my people, I'm going and I'm never coming back. Yes.
And then, nitakurudisha nyuma tena. All this time, forest, your friend's place, what was your relationship with God?
If not for God, I would have left those things long time ago and went back to court. But God used to tell me, if you go back to court, you failed. If you go back to court, you are helping me to do it. I said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Njaa utasikia kidogo lakini utakula. Utaumia kidogo lakini utapona. I will preserve you. You will not die. You will not fail. One day, this wilderness will be your breakthrough. Okay. So I used to talk to Bishop and Reverend a lot. And my mom, they used to send me scriptures. And that friend of mine who hosted me is also spiritual. So I must say God circled me with people who knew him and who were encouraging me to keep on just focusing on him.
So your relationship with God was still
it was stronger by the day. It was stronger by the day. Because if someone tells me, we siku hizi umerogwa, ona siku hizi umeisha, siku hizi unapanda pikipiki. God unasikia, utaniaibishia huyo mtu. So that's why I used to, because I read the scripture where Jesus was saying, if they reject you, no, they rejected me first. If you are abused, no, they abused me first. So I was always like, there's nothing new I'm going through, just that mimi sitasulubishwa. Whatever just Jesus is going through, I'm also going through, just that mimi sitasulubishwa na sitachapwa. Lakini matusi, kukanwa and whatever, that one I receive. Even the boda guys whom I used to spoil, ganged up and started saying, squeeze we aliisha, we ananga kitu. You guys bana. So hizo unaongea hivyo lakini umevaa koti nilikupeanga. You're wearing my shoes. See? Yeah. So after that, I went to Kigali with my cousin. The plan was to stay there for just a short time maybe and find something else to do. And then COVID hit. So I was locked down. So I'm in a country where I don't have a work permit. I can't do anything. But my cousin says, we bana, we kaa hapo na ulade. Mi nitakusort. I'll provide for you everything. So my cousin hosted me for the whole of 2020. Internet, food, clothes, accommodation. I want to go and visit someone somewhere, he comes through. I want to go and do what, he comes through. Yeah, so after that, the Kenya Law Reform Commission called me back. Now after the travel bans were laxed, I used to teach at Brian Law School on YouTube, teaching the public on good governance and the rule of law. So Kenya Law Reform Commission saw my work on YouTube and offered me a position. So I came back to Kenya for that. And then just when I reached Kenya like this, Kenya Law Reform Commission are saying the interview has been cancelled. So I'm like, why have I come back? Then it hits me, God is working. So I had nowhere to go. I just had to go all the way to Kisumu. And then who was there at that time? My dad. He had come back, not even my mom. So I went back, talked to him. They helped me to set up Brian and Brian Advocates in Kisumu, just at the center there. And then I began teaching the community, now my rural community, their rights and duties, what the Constitution says. It was about the BBI time. I taught them all that. I gave girls in that area sanitary towels. So when I was now working there, I began getting some jobs. So I began to know, kumbe pesa inakaanga hivi. I'd not, you see, now when I came, I'd not seen the new 1,000 for a long time. So I was like, hey, this money looks like this. Yeah, that's how me and money were very isolated. Like we were very big enemies. So after that, work just began, and then my purpose now came. My purpose now came, and then I asked myself, before I die, what would I want to achieve? So I took a piece of paper and I wrote down 99 of my greatest dreams. So number 1 was empty. So from 2 to 100, I filled it. So I filled, buy a classic car, build a school, build a hospital, I don't know, do what. I wrote all those things up to 99. And then I asked myself, what if I try to achieve these 99 things, I won't even make it. So what one thing can I do? What one dream can I pursue, which is in me, and I have the capability that if I pursue that dream, I will get all these 99. So what is my major definite purpose? What is my highest of goals? Then, even before I finished, that inner voice told me, President. Then I dismissed it. And then I decided, let me do a 40-day fast, because I realized if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know your purpose, you'd rather pause and find it fast than try many things. So for me, I paused for 40 days, did a proper fast, 1 meal a day, prayed. Actually, on the first day of the fast, it was President. But I mean, I think a 40, and it never changed. I even tried some methods. I write in a piece of paper, will Brian be president? Yes, no, maybe, or never. So I have those options. I take those pieces of paper, nazikunja, nazikoroga, nazitupa mahali. And then I pray for 9 days. And then I go and pick, will Brian be president? Yes. Yes. I even went ahead further and met another spiritual lady and asked her. She told me, yeye anajuanga vitu sana na anaombeaga, mimi nataka kuwa president. Akaniambia, president, utakufa. Nikamwambia, nitakufa kwa nini? Watakuwa. Nikamwambia, hakuna, wewe si mtu wa Mungu. Watu wa Mungu waongeage. Then it can hit higher. So akasema, let me pray. But I don't think you will be. So she prayed for 9 days also. And then I called her and said, Mama, ilienda aje? Endelea. Nilipata yes. Endelea. So I was like, God, this is Gideon now asking for signs, and he has always given me signs. So I decided, no, I'm going to pursue this thing. And yes, here I am today, vying for office of the President of Kenya in the next coming elections.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite a long journey.
That is the journey. Yeah, that is the journey.
It's always good to stand by the promises of God. Kwa hiyo kamera ningependa you encourage someone. There are so many youths out there. There are so many people who are going through discouragement, through so many things in their lives. They don't even understand. They don't even know what to do about their lives. Just talk to someone.
Yeah.
and encourage them.
Number one, I'm going to talk to the parents. Dear parents, when you see your child has taken a course which you do not understand, do not admonish the child. Do not, usimkeme. Sit down with the child, ask the child, what's the plan? How will you achieve this? Probe. Do not just think because you are the parent, you know best. We live in different generations. The age difference between me and my parents, me and my father, is 40 years. So what I'm going through right now is not what he went through at my age. So for me, I usually have, though I healed from it, I was a bit bitter because no one, and if there is anyone, ajitokeze, no one ever asked me, what's the plan? No one ever asked me, now that you've quit your job, what are you up to? No one. I'm saying no one. Na kama wako wajitokeze. No one ever asked me, what's the plan? You see, everyone was like, squeezy si wakili, squeezy si wakili, squeezy yafanyi. The other day I told my mom, you prayed for a lawyer, God gave you a president. Exceedingly abundantly above. You see? So if you would have asked me what I was up to, I would have told you I'm building my career, I'm building my path. You would have understand. Now people after I showed on the newspaper on November 12th that I'm vying for president, top page, the no guys are like, oh, kumbe, this is what he was planning. You see, but if they would have asked earlier, I would have explicated this to them, and even maybe they would have supported. Wangenilipia rent. Na mambo, lakini again, it was God's way. So for the youth, sana, follow your dream. If there's something in your heart, follow it. I believe you detach from your parents the moment your umbilical cord is cut. That is when now you start breathing independently. Right now, if God forbid my parents stop breathing, I'll still breathe. If I stopped breathing, they will still breathe. Yeah, so my life is not interdependent with anyone. My life is not pegged on anyone's life, but my life is pegged on what God wants me to do. So just believe in God. It's a tough journey. And then money is not everything. I've had it, I've lost it, and I have it again. So I can tell you, money is not the source of life. Money helps you to hide your miseries in a nice way. Yeah, you see, money will never sort your problem, but it helps you to be sad nicely. Yeah, you are sad, but you're in a VX. You understand? That's the difference. That's what money does. But they're just flowers. It comes and it goes. So my advice is be steadfast. Everyone, be steadfast. Stand your ground. Find your purpose. We are not living here randomly. Hatujazi tu number. Everyone has something to do. Everyone has a call. Everyone has unique gifts and talents that you can use to bless yourself, your loved ones, and others. So for me, my talents are in business, my talents are in leadership, and my talents are in communication. And I can do many things. I realized if you step out of your comfort zone, I didn't know I could build a tree house bila mshumari. I supervised and we built a tree house with bush ropes and shrubs. And it stood and we slept inside there. It accommodated me. So you are talented. You are multi-talented. There are talents that you have that you don't even know. There are things that God has put in you that you don't even know. And you will never know them if you stay in the known. You will know them if you go to the unknown. And people usually fear going into the unknown. I don't fear the unknown. Even this is the unknown. Vying for president is the unknown. I have never vied for even at the university seat. This is the first thing I'm going for elective position. And it's an unknown. And why am I doing it? Because I know the God who knows. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. Yes.
It's quite challenging and quite encouraging.
Yeah.
And I want to just thank God for this time and to I feel privileged to host an aspiring kwanza hata CMCA ama nini president.
Thank you.
Na karibu sana kwenye kipindi chetu. We are humbled and I want to thank Tumaini TV for giving us this
Yes,
platform.
yes, thank you so
and
much.
this is a place where Tumaini TV is bringing hope to the nations. And
yes.
I want to believe that wherever you are and wherever you are watching us from, umepata Tumaini. Na I know you are going to stand by the promises of God. Always stand by the promises of God and always believe in God and learn to listen to that voice of God.
Yes.
And you will be blessed.
Amen.
Thank you so much, our viewers, and thank you so much, our
Thank you for having me.
my guest. I want
for
to
having
thank
me.
you for coming, and thank you. And we have come to the end of our program. We'll meet next time. So,
Bye.
kwaherini.